Hello there, it's me, Jaymz Bee, and this is the Jaymz Bee Podcast. It's out every Friday, and always a special guest. This time, Colin Hunter. You might know him from his 12 recordings as a singer. He also owns the Jazz Bistro, and he's also the chairman of Sunwing. And he's kind of proof that sometimes good guys finish first. Can't wait to talk to this man. I've known him a long time, but there's a lot of questions. And I'll get to the bottom of Colin Hunter in just a little bit. But right now, a couple of quick thank yous to sponsors and a look at what's happening in the Toronto area. I want to thank Captain Paul Barber, barberfinancial.com. He's always out. I see him in clubs all the time. He's always supporting music, supporting the arts. And when he's not in Toronto, he's traveling all around North America in his RV, having a wonderful time, a charmed life, and he can help you have a charmed life because he knows what to do with money. So you need some financial help, big or small, he'll help y'all. All right, barberfinancial.com and Barbarian Steakhouse. I talk about the food, I talk about the ambiance and the service. It's just one of my favorite places. Well, what about the wine list? Next week, I'll be going down into the wine cellar to talk to a wonderful actor. Jane Eastwood will be my guest next week. So, Barbarians, if you're going for dinner, don't forget, in Vino Veritas, pick up some wine. They've got an incredible wine menu, one of the best in all of Canada. What else? Patreon. Thank you to everybody who's been promoting and helping me, spreading the word about this. Share this podcast with your friends. Whether this is the short podcast that's only about listings or the full one with my special guest, really helps when you help spread the word. Being an indie guy, everybody that donates through Patreon really helps me out a lot. $5 a month goes a long way. So thank you all. And Beeline Adventure Tours. Yes, I sponsor myself, but that's just because, man, I love taking people on trips. And New Orleans is the next one. May 9th, we're going down for 5 days, 4 nights. I'll take you out to 3 different clubs and a riverboat cruise with a live band, the Dixieland, Dukes of Dixieland. It's going to be incredible. Kevin Clark is down there. Chris Butcher is down there. A whole bunch of my friends. So we're going to be having an amazing time in New Orleans. If you want more information, write to me at jaymzbee.ca. All right? Now, let's get on to some listings here. Steve Amaro is a romantic singer, piano player. He's joined by Ethan Ardelli on drums and Pat Collins on bass, and he'll be there tonight at the Homesmith Bar at the Old Mill, Toronto. What else is coming up? Neil Swainson tomorrow. He's a fantastic bass player. I'm sure a lot of you know Neil Swainson already. Well, he's playing with 2 other award-winning musicians, Red Schwager on guitar and Don Thompson on whatever he wants. I'm assuming Don Thompson will be on piano, but sometimes vibraphone, sometimes drums. The guy can play anything. German pianist. Oh, Florian Hofner. So this guy's really good, and he comes into town only every couple of years, and he's playing at the Homesmith Bar with a trio. And then Thursday, Adrian Ferrugia and Sophia Perlman throw a little party there, invite some friends down, have a little jam at the Homesmith Bar on Thursday. And on the 22nd, composer, pianist, and singer Kathleen Gorman, very talented woman. She'll be down there. Always no cover, $20 minimum. And the shows are from 7:30 to 10:30, so check it out, oldmilltoronto.com. Lula Lounge. Tonight you could grab dinner early, 6:30 or 7. You could go down and you would see Alain Morales. She's a beautiful young girl from Brazil. She's been in Toronto a few years now, was up for a Juno once, and she'll sing some world music for you to get you in the mood, then dance lessons, then live band, then DJ. It goes all night long. Saturday, the same thing, goes all night long. Orchestra Fantasia is performing, and lots of cool things during the week, including Tuesday. Old-time musicians, and apparently a mentalist or 2. Mysterion will make sure that the night is magique, but so will the music, because this is the Great American Songbook done by 2 young Germans. Richard Herfield, amazing voice on this guy, theatrical but not overly theatrical. It's just the right amount of everything. Really sweet, perfect voice. And Sasha Comer, very interesting piano player. So they're going to be doing the Great American Songbook at Lula Lounge with some mentalists. Sounds really cool. Lula.ca for that. And then looking at Hugh's Room, we've got Alfie Zappacosta. Now, he's on tonight. It's probably sold out, but you should check it out. Great guitar player and singer, and there may be some tickets left. Garnett Rogers is on Saturday. Willie Nile is on Sunday, and something truly wild on the 18th of this month, Tim Booth's Toronto Art Orchestra. Heavy charts, 18-piece band. You'll probably know most of the musicians on the stage. There's some very famous people playing. Bob Brookmeyer and Maria Schneider charts. These compositions are not easy to play, and this 18-piece band is going to blow you away. So all of that stuff is at hughesroomlive.com. And while you're there, maybe you want to pick up tickets for March 1st. I'm going to be there with the Tiki Collective. And what we did this time is we said instead of, last time it was a seasonal show, the one before that was like jazz standards. This time we're doing some very interesting music. Songs from Coop, songs written by Brian Eno, a little bit of everything, and everything, of course, in that pop, jazz, exotica, surf blend that the Tiki Collective are known for. So the last show was completely sold out. Get your tickets now at hughesroomlive.com for March 5th. The show is at 8 p.m. Tonight, Kahil El-Zabar is going to be performing with Corey Wilkes and Alex Harding. Now, they're called the Ethnic Heritage Ensemble. They're from Chicago. Whenever they come to town, I'm in the audience. So I will see you there tonight if you're coming down. Unbelievable music. I cannot really describe this. I could call it jazz. I could call it world music, soundtrack music. It is spiritual. It is groovy, sometimes a bit freaky, but it's important music, and it will reprogram your brain in a good way. So if you are up for something really special, tickets are $35 at the door. You can get tickets at the door. 111 King Street East at Church. La Maquette is where this is. You want to get down early for some food too, but you can get tickets at the door. You can also look at Caliban Arts Theater and read up more about this, but just take my word for it. Tonight, that is the freakiest, coolest thing to do. Kahil El-Zabar, what a guy. Finally, Jazz Bistro. You know, Harold Danso played with Woody Herman, Chet Baker, Jerry Mulligan. Now he's up from the U.S. to play with Richard Whiteman Quartet, and that's happening tonight at Jazz Bistro. February 21, 22, and 23. Big deal of the day here. Ray Downs is coming in, and he only plays in town every few years. Absolutely brilliant. All the old masters, Don Franks and Archie Lean, Dougie Richardson, everybody always told me stories about Ray Downs and just how amazing he is. I have his records, so it's time to get down to see him in concert. February 21, 23, jazzbistro.ca. And speaking of Jazz Bistro, let's go there right now. We're going to see Colin Hunter, who is the CEO or chairman of Sunwing. He started that company, and he's also a great singer and a good friend. So let's go see Colin Hunter right now. So we're going to talk about music a lot, Colin, but first, you were born in India.
Bombay.
What was it like?
Before they changed the name to Mumbai, and somebody tried to put a bomb back in again. What was it like? Well, you know, I lived there for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fine. You know, we lived in Bangalore for a short time. Bangalore then had a population of a few 100,000. Today it's got like 12 million plus people.
Wow.
That?
Wow.
Yeah.
And you moved to England at 21.
Yeah, I moved to England in 1970 when I was 21.
And where did you live?
Lived in London.
Wow, nice.
I lived in London. I was the Beatles time, you know. I was head bartender at the Hammersmith Palais. I had one of 3 jobs. That was my job at night. During the day, I worked at British Airways, and then soon after that, I went to night school to further my education.
So you're in night school and tending bar and working in the day.
I had lots of energy.
That is a lot of energy. So British Airways, something led you here. It was like adventure tours you had? You had something?
Yeah, but my wife led me here.
Oh, you fell in love.
I saw her in the elevator, and I decided, to hell with this stuff in the UK. I'm going there. So I emigrated here. My brother was living here, so it was easy. You know.
And so you came here and you stayed in the airline business?
Not really, because I came here and they said, oh, well, you know, if you want to go into an airline, you got to join a union. And I said, I don't want to join a union. I've never been in a union. Thank you very much. So then somebody said, well, why don't you call this lady that has connections in the travel industry? I said, okay, I got nothing to lose. I called. They said, when can you start? I said, how about Monday? It was a Thursday, I remember. October the 12th, 1970.
Yeah.
And they said, when can you start? I said, Monday's fine. They said, can you start tomorrow? I said, these guys got to be really desperate. Yes, I said, yes, I'll start tomorrow. So I started the next day, and that was a company called Sun Tours.
Sunflight.
Yeah,
and then you started your adventure tours.
Yeah, Adventure Tours. Actually, I took over an existing company. Adventure Tours wasn't doing much here, and we went down to Dallas, and I met with the guy that was the head honcho for Adventure Tours in Dallas, and I said, I can really do something with this company and make it bigger. And he said, oh, okay. I said, because it's not being run properly right now. So we went, I think, it was a small company carrying about 10,000 passengers, and within 10 years it was up to over 100. And soon after that I started with people like Bob DeLuce. We started Canada 3000.
Right. Now I like the story in 1988. A guy told you that he has bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
I don't remember who this guy was, but someone basically said your company's too small, so you went and made a big one.
No, what happened was that we were using a lot of airplanes from Pacific Western, and Pacific Western were taken over by Canadian Pacific Airlines. And they called me on 23rd of February 1988, February 23rd, my birthday, that's why I remember it.
Right.
And they said, we have bigger fish to fry, so we won't be giving you any more airplanes. I said, okay. Meanwhile, somebody had talked to me from the UK and said that they were interested in having a Canadian airline so they could use their summer airplanes during the winter months. I said sure. You know, in those days I said sure to everything, because some people made promises they couldn't keep. So
Yeah.
but in this case, everything went according to plan, and we started planning in September, and we got the license in late November. Very quick.
And that was a good name, right? The Canada 3000 sounded very modern and very cool.
It was originally going to be Air 2000 Canada, and then the Canadian government objected. So I talked to the guy. I said, so you want a big maple leaf in front of it? He said, yeah. I said, okay, how about we call it Canada 3000? He said, brilliant.
Why? You just liked it better.
But it didn't matter.
Yeah.
To me, it was just important that we had a number, because we'd been advertising Air 2000. So, you know, most people forget what's in front of the number. So 3000 was as close to 2000. So
Yep, gives you another 1,000 years too.
So we started that.
You and Bob DeLuce from now Porter Airlines.
Yeah. But well, it was actually the DeLuce family that were involved. So not only Bob, but Bill also was involved.
Yeah.
And then we sold out, because we had a guy that was a shareholder in the company who had come in because he supposedly had a lot of connections with the CTA, but he proved to be an irritant to the CTA. And the DeLuce family and myself, we got out in 1986. We sold all our shares over a period of time, and I retired. I retired early.
You did retire early, but then
I retired early.
Something happened with Jets Go. Jets Go were gone.
No. Well,
was that during the Canada 3000?
Before that, my wife, after having me at home for a few months, she said, I think you should go back to work, because I was buying videos and books that I never read. So I said, okay.
Yeah.
So then I went back to work. We got a little company and we built it up from the year 2000, and using a lot of airlines, primarily Jetsco. And then Jetsco went under March break 2005, left us high and dry without any airplanes, but we managed to get a lot of airplanes from other people and delivered our promises to the passengers.
You probably made a lot of friends in airlines when you're suddenly booking every seat they have left, right?
Well, it wasn't really seats, it was just we were bringing in chartered carriers from the United States. And of course the Canadian government ignored the fact that they were foreign carriers because a major Canadian carrier had gone down there.
Right.
So,
and they're not going to take every company that worked with them down with them. So
after that, I decided that's it. We're going to start our own airline.
Yeah.
And we applied for, and this airline, Sunwing, took a while to get off the ground because by now the Canadian government had changed its standards and application procedures, etc.
Yeah.
And instead of the 3 months or less that it took us to get the Canada 3000 license, this one took us well over a year.
Wow.
Well over a year.
Non-stop filling out whatever they need, answering questions.
Yeah, so anyway, but we finally got it off the ground in 2005, I think.
Mm-hmm.
November 16th, 2005.
And now your sons are involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My eldest son, Stephen, is the CEO of the company.
Mm-hmm.
He does all the heavy lifting, and they've demoted me to be chairman of the company. So
that works fine.
That's fine.
You're busy with other stuff that we're going to get to in a minute.
No, I've got the other stuff too.
Yeah. One last question. So Signature Vacations.
Yeah.
That's yours.
Well, Signature Vacations was renamed. That was originally Adventure Tours. But after we left, the guys in the UK changed the name to Signature Vacations.
Okay. And Sell-Off Vacations.
And then, and Sell-Off Vacations was ours too.
Yeah.
And we were, when I left the company when I sold the company to them in 1996, the company had already grossed 112 million or something over the few years that I had it in profit. And when they got it, it was because it was a UK company that bought it.
Yeah.
They lost that amount of money between 1996 and 2007 when they actually when they merged with our company.
What do you think causes that's someone thinking that they can just carry on without knowing what they're doing, or is it a changing, or is it normal?
I think what it is they were sending in people from the UK that didn't really understand the Canadian market, and they were trying to use UK tactics that some of which don't work in this market, and they kept sending over people that were okay in the UK, and they thought, oh well, the colonies, it'd be fine to send these guys out.
Yeah.
And of course, the guys didn't know the market and made a lot of errors, and good for us, because if it hadn't been for the inept handling of Signature Vacations, we'd have never got it.
Right. And what about Royalton Resorts? I love those. That must be a good thing for you.
Well, that's my son's always wanted to get into hotels, and so we had enough money to start out, and our first hotel was the Royalton in Cancun. And since that time, we just kept expanding one after the other, and now we got under management contract, and the stuff that we own between the two, we probably got pretty close to 20,000 rooms now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a real expansion.
Yeah, well, it's taken
How many countries?
It's taken little time.
Was it 5 countries, 9 countries? How many places can you find a royalty?
Actually, there's one in Cuba.
I remember that one.
Royal
Yeah.
Hicacos in Cuba. That's my favorite hotel. There's 2 actually in Cuba. There's that one, and there's the Royalton Santa Maria. That's 2, and the Santa Maria one, in actual fact, has got many awards, which is great for Cuba because you don't get many of the
Right.
Cuban hotels getting into the prestigious awards area.
Exactly. Now, you had the Canadian Travel Hall of Fame, right? You're in there. Okay, you don't have to talk about all your awards, but it's really cool. More flights to Cuba than any other airline in the world.
Yeah, we're the biggest tour operator into Cuba from anywhere. We actually give them slightly over 50% of their tours.
Amazing. So let's go to music now, because I've been dying to ask you about music. You were 13 years old in India, and you sang a Tony Bennett song on the radio. Is that true or false?
I sang 2 songs on the radio. I sang Because of You, and I can't remember the other one right now, but it'll come to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I sang that, and I got the princely sum of 15 rupees for that. At that time, that probably equated to $2.
But 13 and on the radio.
It was $2 that I didn't have.
Did you keep singing when you were in the UK? Did you keep going?
Not really, no, because when I had the 3 jobs, I considered it 3 jobs. When I had 3 jobs,
Yeah.
I really didn't have the time to sing. So
Right.
all the time I was in the UK, I didn't sing anything.
So when I met you, it was New York City. It was the Iridium. Larry Coryell was playing, and you were singing along, and I didn't know who you were. You were one of my guests, but I didn't know you were Colin Hunter. You were Colin.
Yeah.
So you were singing, and I turned to you and I said, "Hey man, we gotta listen." Oh no, I said, "Hey man, you can't sing." And you looked at me. I said, "Oh, I mean, you sound great. I just mean they don't let you talk or sing in this club." And you laughed. And then later I found out you were Colin Hunter, and I'd heard your music on Sunwing flights, but never knew that you were the guy sitting with me in New York City.
Yeah.
Now you love singing along with music, and I want you to tell me about the time in a cruise ship when you were basically Nat King Colin. Apparently your wife didn't see you much on that cruise ship.
Well, what happened was we were sitting next to this young Polish piano player, Magic Flot, and I guess I was singing along with the music that he was playing at the piano bar.
Yeah.
And he says to my wife, he says, "Your husband seems to know all my songs." She said, "Yeah, why don't you ask him to sing with you?" So Magic gave me the mic. And after that, she didn't see me for the rest of the cruise.
You just kept singing every night.
Every night, I'd go and sit at the piano bar. Magic would give me the thing, and then of course he started calling me Nat King Colin, because at that time I used to sing a lot of Nat King Cole songs.
Yeah.
And we've been friends ever since.
That's great. 2005, you made your first record, right?
Yeah.
Your first record came out when Sunwing began. They were both birthed at the same time.
Yeah, and funnily enough, I did that on the anniversary of my arrival in Canada 35 years earlier. 16th of July, 2005 is when Anthony and I did the recording for the first CD.
Wow. Now you're still working with Anthony Terpstra all these years later. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, we've been working off and on, you know. Anthony's my go-to guy for a big band over here because he has all the charts. So,
Yeah. And you do a lot of work with Joe Seeley Quartet.
Yeah.
Joe is your musical director, right?
Yeah, Joe's actually wonderful because, you know, I just give him a bunch of songs and then he puts together the sets. I don't even have to think about it. I say, "Joe, whatever you want."
The music is so good. And am I wrong? It seems like you're having more fun now than you've ever had before.
Musically.
Yeah, it just gets more fun all the time, doesn't it?
Yeah. I think it's just because, you know, I got a lot more confidence now than I had when I was 13 years old.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
When I was 13 years old, I used to be really, really, really shy. I used to forget my words constantly because I was so shy.
Yep. So you have Joe Seeley. You work with Paul Novotny.
Usually our quartet in Toronto is Joe Seeley, Paul Novotny, Daniel Barnes, and Alison Young.
And Alison Young is your secret weapon.
Alison Young is the secret weapon. She normally comes with 3 or 4 saxes. And you know that she's been nominated for the Juno this year?
I know, for her very first debut record.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
amazing. It's so good.
Yeah.
Now, you play the Jazz Bistro a lot.
I do.
And this is a great room for tourists to come in and be blown away.
I bought it so I could have a regular gig.
Right. This is your club. But, I mean, you don't play every weekend. You give other people room, too.
Oh, yeah.
But you're here every couple months. You do it.
I usually try to do it once every 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Because in between, Joe and I go to Quebec City and Montreal, and last weekend we were in Daytona in Florida. You know.
Hey, I first saw you perform, this is after I found out you were a singer, at the Havana Jazz Festival.
Oh, yeah.
A huge audience. It was a really fun show.
Yeah, I remember.
And also, Montreal, what was that like? The Montreal Jazz Festival. You had a huge crowd there.
Yeah, well, we had the main venue a couple of times. I mean, we've been there 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And we had the main venue, which is near Plus the whatever.
Yeah.
Across from the Hyatt. So it was outdoor.
I was going to say Place de Saint Henri, but that's just because it's an Oscar Peterson song. I don't actually know.
But there were like thousands of people there.
Yeah.
And the great thing about Montreal audiences is that rain or shine, they're there, man. And they don't even move.
Right.
You know, if it's rain, they just take the umbrellas out, put it overhead. They dance in the streets.
Yep.
It's something you don't see in Toronto.
Yeah, that's right.
Our Toronto people are not that hardy, or they don't love their music that much.
I think they're spoiled and sometimes meek.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's a shame.
I agree, though. Montreal audiences go crazy.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
So, do you have a favorite gig, a favorite place to play?
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, Home Sweet Home, right? Because I've seen you Convocation Hall, Old Mill Inn, Lula Lounge. Those are shows we did together.
Yeah.
And then when I think about what's coming up, April 13th, which happens to be my birthday, you're playing with a big band at a venue I've always wanted to see you sing at, Palais Royal.
Yeah, it should be fun.
You know the history of Palais Royal?
No.
It's where Glenn Miller stopped by. It's where Count Basie played, Fletcher Henderson. Everybody played on this stage, and they were all big bands. And they just spent millions to make it look the same. So it feels the same and looks the same as it did back in the 30s.
Yes. We'll have Anthony, will bring his big band with him.
Yeah.
And you're going to bring a bunch of singers too.
And some swing dancers that are young and dress in retro clothes, and we'll get everybody up dancing.
Perfect.
It's going to be amazing. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let you get to your concert. One last thing, I have to say, you have an amazing wife. So you must have something like the strength beneath you to run a company, first of all leave and move away with her, then run a company, and now you can sing and take all these nights to do whatever you like.
She made this club. I mean, she was responsible for the decoration, the design, and everything here.
Yeah.
And I think she did a great job.
It is a beautiful club, Jazz Bistro. Love it so much. Thank you, man.
Hey, and do you know that this particular area is called downstairs?
Great. The wine cellar is on the attic.
The wine cellar, because you were responsible for us getting the decor, because you took us to the vineyards.
In Napa Valley, yeah?
In Napa Valley, and they had a room like this.
Right. And so she said, I want to make my room look like a wine cellar in the attic.
Yeah.
It's upstairs, but it's downstairs. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show this. Dun, da, da. And that's it. That was the wine cellar in Napa Valley that is now part of the decor.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, Colin Hunter. What a sweet man. So listen, next week I'm going to be talking to Jane Eastwood. She is an incredible voiceover actress, theater actor, well, stage and screen. Lots of movies, lots of TV shows, commercials. Everybody loves Jane Eastwood. I worked with her once at Massey Hall. She was in a sketch group called Women Fully Clothed, and which is, I guess, the opposite of Bare Naked Ladies. I don't know. Anyway, she's super funny, and we're going to go see her next week. So please join me next Friday for another episode of the podcast and Patreon if you want to donate anytime. Thank you so much. Yay!